Because for those of you who are here, it's time to have a discussion. We need to talk about one simple thing. That one trick that all game reviewers hate. We need to talk about game design. How to review the Ultra. Now, obviously, in order to properly review the Ultra Hand, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make it so that every review piece is filled with a box of custard. And each box of custard itself has a caramel piece in it. Some of those caramel pieces are hard caramel and some of them are soft. So if you eat a box of custard and like the caramel is soft, then you lose. But if it's a hard piece, then you advance the second round, where your opinion can actually now be used in order to shape the... I don't know. I know that's the biggest meta on YouTube right now, is to basically just be game shows again. You ever notice that? We've looped all the way around. Everything is just game shows again. I say everything, that's dismissive. But like, why is that the meta right now? And there's a lot of the really big figure YouTubers who just do game shows. Magnesis got 2 positives. I actually already looked that up. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, now it's just the meta again. I hate YouTube so much. All right, you know, YouTube has some really cool, inventive, creative stuff. You know, one of the people I follow has less viewers than I do, which is impressive, considering how pathetic and insignificant I am. And yet, they put together a custom program which allows Mega Man robots to fight each other, which is harder to do than it sounds, because you have to have their scripts operate off of each other rather than rock. That's different. And then they just do like challenge runs and cool stuff with that. Like, hey, who would win if Elec Man fought Cut Man, right? That's really cool. I follow that channel regularly and religiously. Like, 1,000 views. No. We want to recommend you this other crap. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll link it. Hang on. I will gladly signal boost here a little bit. Because it's just cool, fun stuff. Like, even I Am Kibitz, which is one of my favorite builder streamers, doesn't really have that many viewers. More than me, obviously, but not that many. Here we go. Here's a link to the channel. Ignore the shorts. Always ignore the shorts. Yeah, one of the big things... I've been following Mega Man Victory for a while now. And they just finally got Bubble Man working, which is a huge challenge. Because if you remember, whenever you actually fight Bubble Man in Mega Man 2, he's always underwater. So how do you get Bubble Man working everything else? So that was a huge hurdle to overcome. Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about auto build yet. So, for real, we do need to talk about Ultra Hand. No, it's incredibly awesome, very niche, and again, it's one of the only channels I follow completely religiously. Like, it's just that absolutely hits like all of my... I want to steal that program because I can think of all kinds of other cool stuff you can do with it, and just do it for myself. Okay. Hey, Reptile's Blade. So, Ultra Hand, for realsies here. Yeah, Cutman is actually higher tier than you'd think in a robot versus robot battle, which makes sense. He moves around a lot. He throws a weapon, which tracks to the enemy, and then that weapon comes back when it hits him. So he's. I know that sounds like basic stuff, but that's pretty good. By contrast, someone you'd think is a little bit harder, like say Tomahawk Man, he's a joke because he attacks very slowly in a very avoidable arc, which does not home in on the enemy. So if the enemy's above him or below him, it doesn't even like come close to hitting them, and he just attacks too slowly. By contrast, the shield people tend to be really high tier. Both Woodman and Plantman have been winning a lot of battles. But I'm geeking out about something nobody cares about. We're here to talk about Zelda. So, let's get some appropriately Zelda music going. So Jesse's mask. Okay, let's read out some of these thoughts here. It's beyond use in building things. It can be used for breaking crates or crops, dropping things on enemies. That's actually a good point. I actually forgot about that. See, this is why I talk about these kind of things. Okay. Setting up terrain obstacles. Auto build, that's a separate thing. Reptile's Blade, awesome, but also a separate thing. Frieza says, plus for building in general, auto build is an absence of a negative because building would suck without it. I'm not 100% sure I agree with that. I could see removing the basic auto build positive. This is loud. But I think the schematics, the favorites in the last build, are just good enough. Although I guess that's just auto build by itself. I suppose it is. Let's just get rid of this positive. Alright. I mean, it is magnesis. It is. Like, let's actually break this down for a second. So what it is magnesis, but they've changed what is painted to be interactable. So in magnesis, there was specifically metallic things, and here it's just whatever it feels like letting you grab. Now, the general quantity of things you can grab has increased, which is cool. But for the most part, it's still just you go and you grab things, and it's only the types of things you are allowed to grab. That enables you to maneuver and alter and change and fix and warp and distort and all kinds of stuff, and that's just like the default stuff. Then we have the offensive capability. This is what was just brought up by Jesse's mask. So like you can just drop things on things to break things, or you can shove things into water. Lord knows I've done that. Stuff like that. Yeah, most physicsy things can be grabbed. That also increases the base kit positives. Because even if... So what I'm thinking here is, obviously magnesis was 2 positives. Just by virtue of the fact that the amount of things you can grab is more, pushes it up to 3 positives, in my opinion. That's before we get to anything else, by the way. Just that. Then we have to consider the fact that it can adhere to things. Adheres. Yeah, the fusing, right? Now, that has... Let's ignore building for the moment. No, I know that sounds strange, but for real. Ignore building for just a second. And think about some of the ways you can build stuff that isn't buildings, right? Making a ramp, or attaching a plank to... Yeah, no, we're not talking about devices yet. Just chunking a ball onto a thing so that it kind of floats a little bit in the water, and now you have a bridge, right? Or... like this, you want to build a stabilizer or a torture device or whatever, right? Yeah, weighing down the enemy or boxing them in. I've actually seen builds. One of my friends did one where he built a cage with an open ground. So he'd auto build it and just jump it down on someone. This is just the adhesive stuff by itself. And if I'm being honest, regardless of the devices, I personally think the adhesive thing itself deserves a triple. There are so many applications that I am barely scratching the surface, and I'm zooming the camera out tremendously here. So effectively, this is the Omnigel triple positives. We're up to 7, by the way. Now we have to talk about the HUD. When you pull out the, when you pull it out, I am inside. Hang on. Let me just go some random place here. Pause. Okay, so when you go outside, you go to grab something. There are two big things that impress me immediately. The first is this. That red indicator and that purple indicator. That HUD right there, and I know it's harder to see on stream, but that little orange dot. And combined with the orange dot, the glue spot. Do you kind of see that like glue trail coming out from the left end of it right there? Okay, I can probably push this out to make it a little bit more obvious. There. See that glue trail? That shows where it's going to adhere to, and it shows the two dots of where it's going to attend to. And you see how it kind of moves as I move up and down the thing, because there are specific grapple points. See that? That by itself is a HUD positive, and when you combine that with this thing, that's unquestioned. So, 100% yes on that front. Cool? Cool. Yeah, very intuitive, very helpful. Also, the controls are actually quite intuitive. Once you're in the mode, you just grab, you let go, you shake to force whatever your currently selected thing is to detach, and, of course, the spinning. The spinning is very... Of all the many control issues I've had in this game, and let's be clear, I have had many. I think we're up to like 4 total negatives just for controls. This is one of the only things that's been incredibly intuitive from word go. You could tell they spent a lot of time playtesting this to make sure that the build is as smooth as it should be, because this is great. So, that's HUD, and that's controls. In addition to adhesing, and then offensive capability, and then basic capability. Now, now we start talking about vehicles. Which, let's be honest with ourselves, is functionally a whole other thing. That's hilarious, Reptile's Blade. So, vehicles is the kits, right? That's the items. The Zonai devices, exactly. Obviously, I don't... hang on, let me do this. Yeah, because... Yeah, exactly. Even though it is a function of Ultra Hand, they might as well be their own thing. So this is gonna... You notice how we're zooming in a lot on this. Because there is a tremendous amount of malleability on what you can do with this crap. Oh. Okay, so... While we're here... Since we're here, I mean, might as well, right? Okay, hang on, we'll get to that in a second, JC. Let's just talk about the building. So obviously, same general process. So, devices themselves, that's the wrong button. Activate on hit. But, as someone has already pointed out, they activate on hit on any attached device. So even though that's way over here, I can hit this and activate the devices that are attached. Also doesn't cost durability from hit. That is 2 amazing quality of life choices that by themselves deserve a positive. So before we even talk about these things, we're already a positive in, just for the quality of life of how you activate the devices. Hey, Dragon Player. So, yeah, we have an interesting outfit right now. Let's fix that super quick. You can also use the time bomb, although I don't really use that much, but you can. Yeah, you see the blue sparks there? Versus red sparks. I know that was a bad indicator because there's also an explosion, but trust me when I say there were red sparks there. Anyways, so we've got the devices themselves, and then we've got how the devices can interact with the world around them. Obviously, this is a glider, which functionally is a device by itself. But like, if I had just a plank of wood down here, I could make a vehicle based out of this plank of wood. Like, I could make I could make 2 planks like this, and then 1 plank like this, so it's like a U facing forwards. And then I could put wheels on it, and then put a steering stick up top, so I could just drive forward in this thing that's just corralling things into it as I'm going. And I can put, like, spikes on the inside if I felt like it. So now I've just got, like, a thing that's bonking people around and damaging them with spike damage as I go. Or I could put, like, springboards in the inside, so it's bouncing people inside the area against the spikes as I'm moving forwards. Like, all of this is just combinations. It's just right off the top of my head things. I have only seen a few Bionic Punks, so no, generally speaking. All of this is just the general concepts of how this operates. So we've got devices. We've got... Hang on. Let me really think about this. Yeah, no, the amount of stuff you can make in this game is bonkers. That's why this is so hard to review. That's why I've held off on doing the Ultra Hand discussion until just now. So we've got the devices themselves, which is actually itemization. And we've got 22 in Oceans. I looked it up. So, itemization, and then we've got Zonai devices. Variety. So we've got quality and variety of the Zonai devices. Then we've got the ability to actually put them together into vehicles, which I'm going to put under its own category of core mechanic. Now, I've already written down 3 of the general types of vehicles that we're going to see, which is traversal, weapon, and utility. All 3 of these obviously exist, and exist in such numbers that I can only imagine giving all 3 of these triple positives. Then we have the sheer number of combinations, which is its own thing. So, like, we got this, and then we got this. Then we get into auto build. Now, I would like to argue auto build at the very least deserves a few positives because, well, obviously it's the kind of thing that it would legitimately suck if it wasn't here. The design of it is still good. The fact that it keeps track of your history, 30 strong, by the way. So, 30 of your most recently built stuff. That's actually pretty awesome. That's honestly more than I would have expected, to be quite honest with you. And the fact that there's the schematics, which just give you something for free. And then you have your favorites, of which you have, I believe, 8. Now, that's not perfect, that's not amazing, and that's not incredible, but I do still argue, I should say, that it is good. I do still think this is positive territory because of the design. The fact that it costs Zonite, that's not great. And we can talk about that because that's a matter of itemization and power progression curve. So, let's bake this into 2, I feel like. Let's do that. Yeah, the UI in general could use a pretty good overhaul. Now, I know I'm going to get some hackles on this, but I actually do think we need to bake in a negative to all of this. And that negative is for what Frieza just brought up, which I myself agree with. Now, yeah, I know I haven't spent too much time in the depths and blah, blah, blah. But I do think that there needs to be a refinement on how much Zonite these cost. I think there's several ways they could have accomplished this. For example, let's say I decided to build this device right here. Okay, cool. So I make this sucker. And then let's say that I get where I'm going, or I give up, or I run into difficulties, or I realize I'm doing the wrong thing. There should be a reclaim. There should be the ability to look at a Zonite device and pull it back into your charge, right? You should be able to restore the items effectively. That by itself would probably completely negate any negative here, because at that point, what I could do is I could grab my little hover bike or my hauler, or excuse me, my car or my hauler, go, here's where I want to be, grab, 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 right? Walk, 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 climb up the thing, go over here, do a thing. Oh, shoot, I need to keep walking. Okay, and then push it back out, right? And yeah, even if it wasn't 100%, which would always be my preference, of course, but even if it wasn't 100%, being able to reclaim some of the materials would be invaluable as is. running around and knocking over camps in the depths, by all accounts, seems to be the best way to stockpile the raw zonite that is required in order to be able to use auto-build effectively. And I do think that because of the lack of reclamation, because of the relative infrequency of its procurement, and irritation of its procurement while we're on the subject, or dupe, yeah, and the cost, too. It costs dozens of zonite to build vehicles of any real complexity. Like, even this thing up here, this is 3 objects. This thing costs 9 zonite to make. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me when I say in this game that's a non-zero amount, right? So I think that's at least 1 negative. But I honestly feel like it's actually 2 negative. It's very close to being absolutely incredible. Like, I honestly, a few tweaks would make this system near perfect. That's true, Monobrent. However, those outposts are A, not necessarily where you want to be, and B, not up top. Up top, they've got the other outposts. Now, those are everywhere, but they've got wood planks and wood wheels, and that's basically it. In other words, not the kind of stuff that you need in order to make your vehicles, because you need zonite devices for that. Now, I know there's another asterisk to that. These things. But these things are a little expensive and require a resource I don't actually have a reliable source of right now. So, like, helps, definitely reduces the number of negatives I'm giving, but I don't think it negates the negatives completely. Does that make sense? Yeah, it is still a bit of grinding. And yeah, enemies only respawn on a blood moon. Don't mistake, like, I'm sorry. I just gave like 20 positives. I think it's actually more than that. I haven't even typed up my thoughts on that. What is that? That's positives 11 through 36. I think we can afford to give a few negatives. Because I do think there are a few elements of this. This is just Tears of the Kingdom in a nutshell. It's a lot of great ideas, and then a couple of, ideas, right? It's entirely possible that what we're looking at is one long chain of spaghetti. Because remember, this started off as just a new Zelda game based on Skyward Sword for the Wii U. And now it's this. And now we're playing Fireman music. Like, I don't even know what's happening at this point. And yeah, that's the other thing. Sorry to keep going down this rabbit hole, but the zonite devices, you can't buy what you want there. You can only gamble for the things that you want there. Hang on, Bionic. Let me finish my thoughts here. My typing. Okay, so positive for disassembly options, and a negative for disassembly options for weapons. Yeah, I'm feeling that, honestly. I haven't mentioned the angle problem yet, Dragon Player. No, I agree, Inocience. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is the durability problem, except not as bad, obviously, and in building format rather than weapon format. One moment, Sakage. One moment. Ah! Sakage's like, I refuse to wait. You will acknowledge my sub, or I will finally execute you, as you deserve. Thank you, Sakage. as always. No, don't execute me anyways. And then just death. I'm really glad you like that. I actually spent a lot of time on it. It probably doesn't even look like it. All the ones at a certain point were manually crafted rather than resized. Yep, this is my execution song right here. So I'll put that towards dealer's choice and also the objectively correct choice. But if anybody can tell me what game this is from, or even more, the stage, I'll put something towards a game of your choice. Alright, so that's right. So we've got to talk about slanting wall stuff. And it is Mega Man. You haven't told me which Mega Man though. I said you have to pick the game. I probably shouldn't have said yes to that. If I'm being honest, I feel like I am going to give a negative for the gotcha. Just the one. It's not nearly as bad as it could be. But I do still think it is a bad. One bad. You're right, I haven't, Frieza. Huh. I've been dumping in every single one I see just to make sure I'm filling this out. Yes, those are literally... That's actually the term. I didn't come up with it. G-A-C-H-A. I don't even know what it means, but like where the word came from. But that is a gotcha device. You put in money, and you get a random result out. Frost emitters? You're right, I don't see frost emitters. In fact, no, I do have flame emitters. They're right there. I've got flame emitters. I've got a couple... I have 3 beams, 7 waters, 9 lights. I've got stabilizers, controls. I've got 2 of the heads. 1 big battery, by the way. 8 regular batteries. 30 fans. That's the only one I've gotten a substantial amount of. But like I said, I'll keep looking as we go. Can you get a specific item you're choosing? Nope. That's why it's called gotcha. Yes, sorry. I was wondering why you were being so quiet, Ross. We've been talking negatives. The only thing anybody cares about. So we just gave a negative for Zonai distribution, the quantity of Zonai required for doing auto build, the lack of a proper reclamation mechanic kind of a thing, and the gotcha to get these balls. And that's actually it. Ignore the 20 positives, just look at the 3 negatives. I'll type up more thoughts there later. Is this updated? Not quite yet. Yeah, no, I can understand restricting the pool in the Great Sky Island, but after that, it really should have opened up. I think that's everything outstanding. Oh, nope. I'm wrong. But first, Bionic Punk, because you at least guessed the franchise, would you like to put that towards, like $1 for the game of your choice? The answer was, of course, Mega Man 10. It's actually the special bonus CD that came with it. Dealer's choice. Echoes of Wisdom. That is dealer's choice right now. The objectively correct choice. Alright. Yes, so that is actually true. So we got 2 of the negatives we want to discuss. We want to discuss the slanting jank, essentially, and if that's negative worthy. And we want to talk about the durability thing. So the slanting jank thing I've actually already shown off several times. Today, in fact. Whoops. I don't think I can show it off right now because I don't think I have enough stuff around here to show it off on. So hang on just one second. So let's show off both of these because I want to do a proper showcasing here. This is fine. Yeah, I guess we don't have to have the durability talk yet, and you're right. Although that sounds like a weird sentence. All right, now that we're at the end of the game, let's have the durability talk. I guess that's how it normally is. The only thing I wanted to mention about the durability talk is I guarantee you it's not going to be as many negatives, because I'm looking at the durability negatives here, right? For example, random durability was something that made things worse in Breath of the Wild. I've actually looked into it, and Kitten Fan was correct. There is no longer random durability. There is now static durability based on the type of the weapon. You know, whether it's decayed or not, stuff like that. So that is different. So that's a negative that's nuked off the list. However, the lack of information about how much durability you have left is probably still a negative, because that's still really frustrating. Inventory space, negative. Still bad. Is it as bad? That's debatable. Regular usage of items in navigation and puzzle design, no longer a negative, because now we have the blue spark concept, and a lot of puzzles don't take up durability in order to navigate the puzzle. So that's good. Master Sword, we don't even have that yet. If that's even in this game, who knows? The total lack of a repair function, that's something we can debate. I do still wish that was in the game, to be honest with you. Let's see what else we got here. Accidentally throwing a weapon is still exactly as easy as it to do, bleh, as it always was. So that's still a problem. You get it, right? We're going to have to go down the list, and we're going to have to debate. So let's get rid of the incredibly awesome music. Go back to the terrible, awful, no good, very bad music. Say thank you to Dark Day. Thank you very, very much, Dark Day. Always appreciate you. And if you want to put that towards up to 3 things, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking the inventory space isn't as bad. There's actually a plus. I do too, GG's. There's actually a plus I've given for how much less durability a lot of weapons have. And I know that sounds very strange. But if for those of you who've been following the document, you know I've already typed up my reasoning on that. It boils down to the fact that an increase in what type of weapons are available on what types of people, the fuse system, and the reduced durability actually kind of helps, because it helps you to churn faster. Now, there's still some negatives associated with that, but that's separate negatives. That's interface and seconds and minutes negatives. But the fact that it's like, smash, 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 kind of helps a little bit, and is actually a pretty good vehicle for progression. Now, I think it could be better, but I did still think it was worthy of a positive, so I jotted that down already. And my point is that helps negate some of the inventory problems that we do, in fact, have. I have already run into inventory problems in this game now on day 6. So, anyways, so I said I was going to show off stuff, but first I have to write down Dark Days. So that's going towards Doom Dark Age. God, I'm looking forward to that. Dragon Quest 11, and the objectively correct choice. So, I was going to show off 2 things. Right. I was going to show off that and something else. What was the other thing I was going to show off? Right. Okay, I know both things I'm going to show off. So, we're going to go this way for a minute. Yep, right there. It's right there. Yeah, no, I'm going to dupe Kokiri seeds at some point. I didn't have time during lunch. I'm sorry. I had to catch up on dishes. And then I had to eat lunch. And then I had to do the most horrible thing of all. I had to spend time with my niece. Oh, truly the most horrible things. All right, so. So this is a relatively flat plane, right? So doing this is pretty easy, even though it's still a little bit offset, and that can still cause issues, but, you know. Yes, absolutely, Dark Day. This game is... It's still got a few rocks in the shoe. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to, you know, blow smoke. But it has fixed many of the issues that Breath had. So now we're building on slightly less than even terrain. So we can kind of try to do this. So let's say it's even less. So let's say we try to do this. And now you see we're running into this issue. This is a little bit of a limitation of the system. And honestly, I'm not even sure exactly how they could make this work better than they already do. Because they're already jury-rigging a lot of stuff here. But we've actually demonstrated, again, today, how much the terrain you're building on can cause issues. The best thought I had, and again, I'm not even sure if this is workable, is if you could just be like, alright, pause, and literally pause the world state for a second. And enter, effectively, like a physics-less state, which is something the game does support, it's worth noting. And once you're in a physics-less state, you just say, okay, this adheres to here, and this puts here, and this... Like, in other words, in a physics-less state, I would stop this thing right here. I would just leave it in the air, and it would stay there because physics are not currently activated, right? So, put everything all together, put it in a position, build the thing, and then, bing, okay, build, and then it activates and you see how many things you screwed up while it was in a physical state. That is an option. I don't know if that's a great option. It would... I feel like that is a workable option, because the idea for that is not just building, like, random stuff on the fly. The purpose behind something like that is to build real things. When you're building something larger and more complex, it would be nice to have to basically ignore physics and ignore the terrain for a few seconds, or a few minutes, or however long it takes you, while you're putting together this complex thing, right? Yeah, exactly. I want to build a frickin' house, and I could do that because even with 22 adherents, I could be like, all right, okay, there's one room, and put this over here, stuff like that. 8 Noctis, you can put down 8. So this is not what I would call a huge negative, but I do think this does add to some problems. This is actually not a great showcasing of this. Down when I'm in the depths, much better place to showcase this. Although, speaking of the depths, let's go to the sky. Hell, I've seen people who will do a thing. What they do is they will build, how do I put this? They will build something that has, 22 pieces, put it off to the side. Then they'll build another thing which has 22 pieces, and then adhere that to the first thing, functionally making a conglomerate device. Yeah, the Goron dungeon we did today gave me a few problems with building just because of the terrain. Oh, right. Yeah, no, there might be some engine limitations we're running into there. I'm trying not to be too harsh. I'm just stating that I don't think that's as good as it could be. But the other problem is much more frustrating. Like, the thing I just mentioned, I could be talked down from a negative for that, but I do think it deserves a negative. The next thing, this probably deserves at least 2 negatives, and I could be argued up to 3. This is a very strange decision. Like, I honestly have no idea what they were thinking with this. I might also be going to the wrong island chain. I'm going off of memory here, and I gotta be real, a lot of these island chains look pretty similar from up here. No, not the emptiness of the sky. That's actually a separate problem. Because the emptiness of the sky is... Yeah, I do think that's not a great thing. I might be going to the wrong island chain. Buddy-duddies. Alright. Oh, that'll work. That'll work. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Hello. And goodbye. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and burn. These platforms are like the worst example of this, but at the same time, I think they are a very good highlight of exactly what the problem is. So let's pull out 2 of these suckers. Quality of life of activation again. So off we go. Let's tilt a little bit to the right. A little more to the right. A little more to the right. Okay, we're off center. Whatever. Yeah, no, it's the vehicle durability is exactly what I'm getting into. So, I did a little digging on the specifics of how this mechanic works. And it turns out pretty much every item in this game that can be zone-eyed or is zone-eyed has a distance counter, which is functionally durability. And that determines how far you can use it and how long, in some cases, how long you can use it. So we started, like, over there, right? Not very far from here, honestly. Yeah, the glider is the easiest one to showcase it with, but I'm an idiot and didn't know where a glider was off the top of my head, so we're using this thing. Oh, we'll talk about the fans in a second. Yeah, this is also how rocket works, exactly. Rockets have a preset distance, and then they fall over. In fact, actually, now that you say that, I could just showcase this very easily. Oh, there it goes. Boom, here you go. This is, we're getting out of range. Notice how little distance we've gone. And boom, it's gone. See? Now, that's a problem. It's a problem for 3 reasons. First is the most obvious. Huh? Second, and most importantly, it massively limits the navigation of the sky. Specifically the sky, although this does affect the depths as well. And honestly, frankly, it also affects the navigation of just the overworld. You can't just build something and then go with it because it will die at a certain point in time. Yeah, it limits the navigation of the entire game. And in a game that does so much to give you so many tools to do so many creative and interesting things in order to get into the air and fly around and have fun with it, that's awful. Now, hang on. You're probably thinking, well, hang on. Then how does the hoverbike work? So that durability range is something that's relative to each part. You'll notice that the giant vehicle thing, the block, fell apart relatively quickly. But the fans were still functioning even though we were using the fans, so the fans were activated. That's because fans have a huge durability range. That's why that hoverbike works so well. It's because the hoverbike and the... The hoverbike and the control stick have absolutely colossal range. So it's obviously a solvable problem because they could change it based on per part. That's also how rockets work, as was pointed out by Kitten Fan. Thank you, Reptile's Blade. And I don't feel it. I don't feel it, especially in a game like this, designed like this. What I find myself doing more often than not is what I'm doing right now. And this literally doesn't work in several cases because you're always losing height. Yeah, I'm not making that. There's no way. Not with this stamina. Not unless I use a stamina item, and I'm not gonna. Yeah, I've got a few hours. I could probably make that. So, we've got the, God, I've lost my train of thought. There were 3 problems I was discussing with that. But there's the obvious irritation. There's the... I guess the variable range. In some cases, it makes a degree of sense, but for the most part, it's just, huh? But I think the final reason is it just feels so restrictive. And yeah, I know, restrictions are not inherently a bad thing, but once again, I question that. Especially in a game this open-ended. It is, ultimately, the durability problem again. Again. Because this is now our 3rd iteration of the durability problem. And I was too slow. It honestly, I've been thinking about this lit because there's so many random things in this game which you can just completely do whatever the hell you want to on. And then there's ones where you can't. In fact, some of the restrictions of this game are actually very restrictive, and then some of them are extraordinarily open. And I've often wondered if there was just multiple teams who either didn't coordinate or actively disagreed with each other, and that's why we get both approaches. Like, how the hell am I going to get to that sphere? Well, I'll tell you how I get to sphere. It's I grind. I grind to get to that sphere, and so I dupe a bunch of Zonai. That's how I get to that sphere. Anyways, so that's those two problems. I'm thinking 87. Hang on, how many negatives do we have to do to equal out? So that's like 50, 60, 63, 72. 72 negatives. Let's do it. That's true, Jesse's Mask. You're absolutely right, because energy is a limiter, and then range is a limiter. That's absolutely true. So I might still not be able to reach that sphere. Unless I use the hover bike, which practically infinite range. I need to rebuild the hover bike at some point. What do I put that under? Yeah, you've said that before, Bionic Punk, but I still don't understand what you mean. Unless you're just literally talking about breaking physics. Oh yeah, then there's the cubes. I still want to reach the mazes up there. I would have wanted to do that since I first saw them because, you know, Borg. How does that work? How do you allow springs to spring off of themselves in the air, but not... Okay, okay. This is what I was just talking about. Some things, sure. Other things, nuh-uh. Physics schmizzics. Okay. I think it's everything other than the durability problem, and we can keep holding off on that. I'm cool with holding off on that. So that means it's time to find shrines. Don't do it, Mr. Red. Don't eat all the peanuts, even though they're calling to you. They could be yours right now, Mr. Red. All those delicious peanuts could be yours. Why aren't you eating them, Mr. Red? Why haven't you already consumed their souls? Go nuts for donuts, Mr. Red. Oh, there it is. We're finally adding Sticker Star to the list. I knew someone would pull that trigger at some point. It's okay. It's automatically approved. I already own the game. Yeah, let's brace that with some other games when we get there. Assuming we ever do get there. We may not. You never know. You never know. Frieza knew what he was doing. Okay, that one. I got that one. Already got that one. There's one up here. We got. I can't ignore Sticker Star. It's in my heart, my veins, my soul. There is no escape from the Sticker Star. No recall or divine intervention will work in this place. Hem. Thank you, Zalir. Always appreciate you. Oh, man. Yeah, I know I'm hyping it up a little bit, but let me be very clear. Sticker Star is going to be a baseball bat game. BRPG block, Quake, and the beat 'em up block. Oh, and if on the off chance you've never heard me use the terminology baseball get back game, very simple. Just picture there's the game, and I've got a baseball bat. Okay. Oh, Ride to Hell Retribution will absolutely be a baseball bat game. Some people have questioned why I've put Ride to Hell Retribution in the someday category. Because the whole point of the someday games is that those are games that bring me great joy and happiness and will someday be something that I can play and really enjoy and it'll be awesome. And you might think, how the hell does that apply to, to Ride to Hell Retribution? Trust me, it totally freaking does. That is going to be a game, that's going to be a birthday, is what that's going to be. That is going to be a birthday treat of, yeah. Yep. It's just going to be the dead horse that we're going to take a baseball bat to and squeeze all the blood out of it. Beat by beat. It's going to be great. And yeah, I've played Ride to Hell Retribution. I did a lore run on it. Yes, the tragic adventures of Johnny McEasycock. Not to come too much down all the negatives I just gave, but this would be a perfect time, if the ability existed, for me to pop out an airship, right? Like a hoverbike and just chase after that dragon, because the dragons are pretty infrequent, and I happen to be roaming over here when there's one, and to just be like, dragon, shoot, get. And then get, whatever it is I'm getting with that, and then go back to what I was doing. That would be cool if I could do that. I can't. Because there's no way I could even catch up with that dragon with all the limitations I just mentioned. So that's not on the table. Yeah, imagine fighting the Hydra with a plane. It's easier to think of. We already fought a boss at the top of this very mountain with a plane. Remember that? Remember how awesome that was? But yeah, so someone asked, was it fun to take the baseball bat to Starfield? Actually, no. Starfield was kind of uniquely horrible and sort of deserves its bottom slot. By sheer virtue of just being so bad. Like, it was the worst kind of bad. It was boring and bad. Most games are either bad or boring. Very few are both. No, Starfield is still in the number 2 slot. We'll do a re-examination of Starfield. We're playing that DLC. And I have already predicted that the DLC will lower the score, not raise it. But yeah, there can be an enjoyment in playing a truly bad game. I mean, the Secret of the Stars run was a pretty good run, right? Starfield was not. Yeah, exactly. Bethesda loves to double down, and that's exactly what I am predicting. Ah, okay. Where am I? So I'm trying to get to this one. Yep. Okay, so that's over here. We're searching for the Isle of Rabak Gallery. Oh, ironically, I think the Starfield stream was a very good stream. Not very entertaining, but very informative. That was a unique way of discussing so many elements of gameplay. Because Starfield did so much wrong. It did so much wrong that we could discuss gameplay design almost every single individual session because it kept screwing things up. Things that we learned 30 years ago in terms of game design, it was screwing up. Yeah, just like Secret of the Stars, it is a wonderful game to study to ensure that nobody else ever does anything like that, ever. And yeah, not just individually wrong. Like, a lot of games... We talked about the durability problem. For those of you who weren't there for that discussion, the durability problem in Breath of the Wild is not durability is bad. It's, here's these, like, 5 or 6 connected threads of gameplay design, all of which are bouncing into each other to make the overall experience worse. That kind of... what do you call that? Meshing game design can make things very, very good. Like, almost all of the really, really good games are so good because this is good, and this is good, and this is good. And yeah, the synthesis, that's a good word, of these ideas makes it something even stronger and even better. But the opposite is true as well. And Starfield did so many things that was just, it was a cascade failure of, what are you thinking? Are we even reviewing the Starfield DLC? Oh, we are. It's not on the list yet because the queue's too big. But I'm adding that myself if I have to. We're covering that. It's a mark of honor at this point. We are going to analyze that DLC, and we're going to see how much they screw it up even more. Because you know they're gonna. Pretty much the same reason I'm sure we're going to cover Elder Scrolls 6 the week it comes out. Good, Reptile's Blade. I strongly recommend to everybody to not buy Starfield. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Yeah, I'm predicting right now that Elder Scrolls 6 will suck, but honestly, isn't it? Will it? Yeah, I actually thought that would happen, too. Anyways, if anybody likes Starfield, no offense. That's as nice as I've got. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Normally, this is when I would say, I could understand why someone likes it. Or, you know, it's got X, Y, and Z good parts about it. But I'm sorry, I'm not a very good liar. I have gone extremely in-depth as to exactly what's wrong with Starfield as a game. Probably too much in-depth, if we're being honest with ourselves. that's going to loop me around there. What went wrong with Starfield? Behind the scenes? I have no idea. Real talk. I would love to know what happened behind the scenes of Starfield. Really. I would love to be able to interview people and try to process and figure out what happened. Because if nothing else, what is on the screen is absolutely not what we were sold for years. Okay. I've already given my biggest theory, and it is just a theory. No meme intended. I think that there were too many departments working on too many things and were not coordinating. They didn't have a mainliner, put simply. Because they didn't have any kind of coordination between teams, you have a lot of disjointed things which don't really work with each other. Like, as we pointed out, there were good quests and good elements in Starfield. But they would be contradicted by other aspects of Starfield. It's just this whole thing, you know? Yeah, I know, management and direction, exactly. Like, you cannot tell me that the people who were putting together the visual design weren't doing their job, because they frickin' were. Almost every story positive I gave came down to doodads, brickwork, and visual storytelling. Like, there was some legitimately well thought out and extremely well crafted stuff there. Ooh. Interesting place. Let's just do this.
Just wanted to say thanks for fostering such a positive and wholesome community and giving us something to tune into on a daily basis. Smiley face. All to dealer's choice.
Okay, no. That is not how that option is set. So first, they get rid of the fact... Oh, that pisses me off now. You're awesome, Judo. But there is... First, they turn off my bot, which is what tells me when people have donated, which is still not working, by the way. And second of all, they give me an alert thing which starts reading the donation comments out loud without that being enabled. No. 100% no. My bot is up. But Streamlabs has a bot which I use to track donations, which is not up. You are awesome, Judo Joker. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate your kind thoughts. And I appreciate you notifying me that that setting is on somewhere. I don't even know where that setting would be. Wait, I think I found it. I think I found it. There it is. There it is. Why is that on by default? Why did that get turned on? Against my will today, by the way. Just to make that clear, because remember, this very same software is the one I use every day of streaming, and I stream every day. I stream 7 days a week. It was fine yesterday. Okay. So, like, why is the bot not working? Here, hang on. I actually really do need to look into this, because that's... Thank you, Judo Joker, for informing me that that be broken. Here, have some lava music. Okay. Yeah, hit the stream break. I gotta fix this. Okay, so there's the sound effect that should play. The animation is still playing. There is no text in chat, which is sort of what I want, because that's how I know those are coming in. I don't see that animation unless I'm specifically staring at it. Please. Why broken yo? What is this? Okay. Yeah, no kidding, Innocence. Jesus, I wonder how many streamers were caught by surprise by that. Because it's funny, you said that, Judo Joker. I really do have a really awesome community, as you yourself have demonstrated. Imagine if some asshole had just popped in and said some unkind words because that's just, you know, what they were saying that particular day, because that's just the kind of person they are. And remember, I'm the one who's liable for that because of how extremely broken this whole system is. Yeah, imagine if a bot came in, donated $1 to just be like, hey. Thank you, Judo Joker, very, very much. Oh, we don't talk about CrowdStrike. By the way, fun fact, every single one of my friends who works in IT was affected by CrowdStrike. 100% of them. That I talked to. I didn't actually talk to everybody. I know, Kitten Fan. Jesus. So you're putting that towards dealer's choice, which is awesome, but one of them is going towards the objectively correct choice, which is Echoes of Wisdom. Okay, now give me a moment, please, because it's still broken. I'm still trying to fix that. What was the deal with CrowdStrike? Lack of QA testing is the super summary. Super duper summary. Actually, one of them does act, yes. One moment, please. But yeah, the super summary is they didn't QA test. And lo and behold, a very, very small but easily caught thing slipped through the cracks. Now here's the problem. The thing that slipped through the cracks required physical access to fix. Now, this kind of caused a cascade failure. Because let's assume for a moment that you are running a server farm somewhere for, I don't know, an airliner, okay? And something goes wrong and you need someone physically on hand to hook in actual hardware to the computer, to the server, in order to interact with it and fix the problem, okay? That's not super uncommon. It's why overnighters, it's why 100%ers, it's why 24ers usually exist, is to be able to deal with that kind of thing. To be able to physically be present and interact with something. Yes, I know Bionic Bug. That's why I use that as an example. So that's why those people exist. The problem is a huge amount of companies over the last 10 years have been slowly phasing out the 24s, aka the people who are always there all the time, so you always have a physical presence on site in case you need it. Because they're just redundant. I mean, they're just sitting around doing nothing all day. They're just a waste of resources. Get rid of them and watch the profits come in. And then something like this happens, and then you need someone physically on hand. So not only is the outage longer, costing you money, and more people are pissed off, costing you goodwill, but then you have to pay someone a whole lot more in order to then physically drive out, wake up in the middle of the night, and drive out into the spot to then physically go interact with something. They're getting overage for that. So it costs more, and it pisses you off more, but on the plus side, you did save money. Yet redundancy exists for a goddamn reason. You know? Sorry. Yeah. True enough, effect. Oh, I remember that Judo Joker. Yeah, the increased amount of monopolization in the States is not something I'm a big fan of. I don't know if it's happening in other countries too, but it's definitely happening here. Okay, I apparently can't fix that right now, but it looks like it is no longer at least doing this stupid text-to-speech. Unfortunately, I have no real way of testing that, and no, I don't want anyone to donate just to test that. But it looks like it's working, or rather, is turned off, as it should be. Back into it. What was I doing? Right, right. That is what I was doing. I guess I can kill the good music. I mean, terrible, terrible music. So Judo Joker donated, and then it read out Judo Joker's entire message in text-to-speech. Which is, I know, right, Cyclone? Which is a problem for several reasons. Like, I don't even feel the need to properly explain all the reasons why that was a hold up kind of a moment. Yeah, that's the other thing. We were just talking about how easily you could get in trouble for that, but, like, that's the more extreme end of how bad things can go. Even on just a fairly basic level. What if you just want to say something privately, right? What if you want to say something that's a message intended just for the streamer? Well, sucks to be you, because now the entire stream and the VOD can hear your entire message. So everybody on YouTube for the next 20 years can hear your very private message that you sent to that streamer. Congrats. Bragwin is the one who could help you with that. I believe Bragwin mentioned your whispers were disabled. But she is her awesome usual self. I can help you with that. Oh, tell me about it, Charles, yeah. Whispers are automatically disabled. Hey. You know what? Don't answer that. I actually know the incident you're talking about, Judo Joker. And I was actually quite angry at the time. See, I can say it with like a lighthearted tone now. I was livid. Like, imagine Mr. Red came to me and was talking about his mother dying, and my response was, okay, look, overshare, Mr. Red, okay? Time and a place, alright? Like, Jesus Christ, what kind of sociopath do I have to be to react that way? Like, I'm sorry, but no. Learn how to be a human being. No, not a better human being, just a human being at all, because you don't qualify yet. Don't worry, you'll get there with time and effort. I don't have another hammer right now. I mean, trauma dumping is an actual thing, and it is an actual problem. But I actually went and bothered to watch the exact incident in question to gauge my own opinion on the matter, and that's not trauma dumping. That's just, hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, yeah, this happened. Hey! I probably could get fed, but then I wouldn't have my mining tool. Listen, mining is very important. I need my mining. There's a giant skeleton, I remember. Species is to lower our slave stream. Use the skeleton. Funny. Listen, duping hurts my hand. You notice I haven't even duped yet since the time I did it on camera. Listen, Dragon Player, those swords are important. That's true, Judo Joker. I am literally Hitler. I can't wait to bash games you love from the PS2 era, because that apparently is like one of my shticks. Next up, we'll be covering Beyond Good and Evil. Oh, that's right. That was a game I already played and bashed because it sucked. It's okay. It's a beloved classic for a reason. I'm not sure what that reason is. I'm still looking. Next up, we'll cover early 3D games and how amazing those are. First, we're going to cover Kingsfield 1. And then Ace Combat 1. Duping is a shorthand for duplicating, which is sort of exactly what it sounds like. Seriously, Mr. Ed? I know Kingsfield had a different release schedule here in the States, but I thought, like, it at least came out here. It's fine, Judo Joker, it's fine. Don't hate me. Okay, okay, you're allowed to hate me. I accept. I don't know, grabbing ROMs has gotten a lot more risky lately because, well, the company I can't think of the name of has decided to try and make it their job. Come on! Their job to try and make getting safe copies of ROMs as hard as possible. And I know what you're going to say. Nintendo? Actually, no. I did a little digging into that. You remember everyone was like, oh my god, Nintendo's shutting down, you know, ROM sites. It wasn't Nintendo doing it. I don't remember the name of the organization, though. It was some dumb organization. Stupid. No, no, like, it's someone, I don't even remember their names right now. If you give me a minute, I can find out that, you're gonna ask me anyways, let me just find out. Hang on! Hang on. Hit the switch, this is just a stream break stream, that's what this is. Let's go with something Nintendo-y, because that'll be an easy way to do it. Here we go. Oh, okay, that's still there. Let's try PlayStation. And let's try Kingsfield 1. Let's see if it's there. It is! Kingsfield 1. What do you know? I can just grab... I'm just going to download this. I'm just going to grab Kingsfield 1 right here. While I'm at it. Screw you. It's mine now. I know, right? Literally. Nobody wants to see me play this game. God. Yep, I have now legally acquired Kingsfield 1. Here we go. The Entertainment Software Association. Yep. The ESA. The assholes of incorporated garbage. Yeah, the ESA, the recent ROM purge was pushed by the ESA. And, screw them. I know that it's your job, ESA personnel, to try and reduce the amount of happiness and joy in the world by the greatest amount possible. So I do want to say with absolute certainty that you are succeeding at your job, you fuckheads. Yeah. Where was it? Okay, so I need to get that over there. So, let's see. Let's grab this. And that's going to be over there. And the European Space Agency can go to hell, too. I don't know why, but they can. I haven't seen a single gerbil in space yet. Yeah, you remember those incredibly incompetent, malicious, and people who actually managed to cause so many horrible problems on it, like actual problems, real problems, like doxing thousands of people in ways that led to literal years of harassment and lawsuits because of their own ridiculous incompetence. Entertainment Software Association. I'm not even going to get into how much they have been just behind so many of some of the worst movements in the gaming industry for decades. Screw them as hard as it is possible to screw them. Like, I want them to be walking funny for a week. Strange. I like how nobody commented that I actually just cussed. I usually pull those out very carefully and precisely, and I thought they deserved it. Because they are awful. Just the worst. They do deserve it. They really are terrible. Like, there's no hyperbole here. There's no literally Hitler there. They're horrible human beings. End statement. If they stopped existing as a corporation, the world would spontaneously become a better place. Like that. Oh, no, there's plenty of people who swear way more than me. No, I just don't swear as like a personal rule. I used to not swear at all. Then I started working in IT, and I started swearing a whole lot more in IT. And I know that sounds like a joke. It actually really isn't. It is a literally truthful statement. When I started working in IT, it just became part of the language, and it sort of pushed its way into my lexicon. Then when I stopped working in IT, I tried to get back out of that habit. And nowadays I try to use it more precisely, like I just mentioned. Jesus, Tulin. Oh, no judgment to people who swear a lot. Except for you. You know who you are. There's that quality of life plus I mentioned earlier, by the way. Could you, like, die, please? Thank you. Thank you, Tulin. That looked like a steak right there. If wolves look like that in real life, I need to get on eating more wolves in my life. That's a weird sentence, but I stand by it. Oh, it's like right there. Shadow Tower. You know, I was mentioning this to Mr. Red recently, and I want to stress that I meant this with legitimate sincerity. One day it would be interesting, once we've actually caught up on the queue, to really do an honest-to-goodness deep dive on trying to find the worst. The worst game. As of the moment, it's Secret of the Stars. And it's honestly possible it'll never be surpassed. Oh, you know what? I like the idea of Kitten Fan. I don't think E.T. will surpass Secret of the Stars. In fact, honestly, I don't think E.T. will surpass Starfield. This is worth the reduced speed. I just need 4 Koroks. Yeah, no, the harsh reality... I hate to disagree with you, Jesse's Mouse, but I think E.T. isn't going to score as badly. Like, I'd love to review E.T. someday, but that's going to be like a 20-minute stream, you know? That's kind of it. There's just not that much meat on its bones. It is an extremely broken game. Like, and yeah, I actually know a decent amount about E.T. Oh, hey. I actually did some work for a TAS of that game. Trust me, that game's terrible. I have to refresh myself in some of the specifics. Like, it's actually possible to soft lock yourself in E.T. very easily by normal play. Did you know that? Actual soft lock. Just start all over. What you may also not know is that in order to progress, what you need to do is you need to find specific items. And those items, of course, are in certain areas. Okay, no problem. You just search the area for the item, right? Well, the catch there that I think you're not quite understanding because you're expecting good game design, or at least game design, is nothing indicates that the item's there. The only way to know it's there is to search the spot you're on. There's no visual indicator that the item is present. Which, if you're actually starting to think about that for 5 seconds, means, yes, you have to just go into every spot, everywhere, and search everywhere in order to find the damn thing. Yeah, more or less literal pixel hunting. There's also a timer in that game. A hard timer. You fail the timer, you lose the game. You start over from the beginning. It is, of course, an Atari game, so any fail state just means starting the entire game over. Which, granted, is true for a lot of Atari games, but it still makes everything else a little bit worse. And yeah, the search for the bottom, I guess I should clarify, because what I really mean by that is the search for the lowest golden number. Because I actually think E.T. won't score as badly as some of the games we've already covered. But as Jesse's Mouse so accurately points out, that's not the only metric. It's just my metric. Okay. Yeah, don't mistake me. It'll be a negative golden number. If we ever covered E.T. I just don't think it'll be that for now. This is really dark. Oh, thank you. Reward your service with death. I mean, in fairness, E.T. was the final death knell, not the actual thing that did it, but yeah, there we go. I can see! I can see! No. My favorite anecdote about E.T. was that it actually went by Steven Spielberg's desk for approval. Now, Steven Spielberg, how do I put this as nicely as humanly possible? Didn't know anything about video games. At all. And, it showed. But yeah, E.T. was the final straw. E.T. Actually, that's not even the right way to put that. E.T. was more like the first straw. E.T. started a trend that essentially never stopped until gaming just self-destructed. Not a lot of people understand that the real big problem with the video game crash of the 70s was that you would go to buy, you know, Mr. Red's Wild Adventure, and the odds of you actually buying that game were like 1 in 3. Because there were so many knockoff copies and so many copycats. Like, never mind people just doing, you know, and deliberately trying to mislead you into thinking you're buying the game you think you're buying. Then there's just people who are just playing around with game design, because game design was such a new thing that a lot of people would make their version of a specific type of game, you know? Let me put this in different terminology. Even back then, people were doing games like Head-On, which is built in the Doom engine. Now, it's its own game in the Doom engine, but you can see how you look at that and it's like, oh, they took Doom and they turned it into another game. But the problem is back in the 70s, the complexity of the games was so much more basic that make it into their own game was much, much, much smaller of a distance between the original game. So, like, you'd see versions of Pong where the ball would bounce slightly faster. That's it. That's the difference. Or you'd see versions of Pong where the actual paddles were different shapes. Stuff like that, right? And that was their spin on the original. Now, not all of them were that minute or eyebrow-raising, but the point was that was rampant back in the 70s. Thus, when E.T. came out and it was like, hey, people were like, hold up. And that just killed... Like, it was a problem that was already building, but that was the oh moment. Yeah, no, there were no regulations. There was no government oversight. There was no nothing. It showed, and the industry crashed. Of course it did. Honestly, duh. Let's go here. As intended. Working as intended, act. Yeah, honestly, Japan got really, really lucky by being about a decade behind everyone else at that point. You know, I could reach that one. Just to get mushrooms, Frieza. Nothing else was. I know, I'm getting shrines right now, but I'm kind of curious, because this is the first cube I'll be able to reach. People always talk about the invisible hand of the market. And while there is absolutely some more intangible forces, you always got to remember that the people at the very top are always guiding things. To think otherwise is foolish. It's just a matter of math, not malice. Although there's probably malice involved, too. Let me put this way. Let's say every single person in chat is given a... There's one giant pie, okay? And every single person in chat gets a portion of that pie. And 98% of that goes to Mr. Red. Mr. Red now has just a fundamental amount of control over how that pie is going to be eaten and distributed and operated, and how future pies are going to be made, etc., etc. Like, even if Mr. Red is not some kind of horrible Machiavellian I don't know, conspiracy theorist, whatever you're going to think about, he has the majority of the pie. The end. Really? Really? Fine. I was talking about this a few nights ago because I was discussing billionaires. We actually have a decent amount of statistics on billionaires at this point in our life. And, yeah. What? Okay. And yeah, even if you somehow magically have, like, the most beneficent philanthropist, you know, beneficial billionaire in the universe, they still have a tremendous amount of influence and, effect on everything. Because they just have that much financial control. Oh, I don't know, Panic Punk. I was reading an article just last night about the benefits of billionaires. And it's the same type of article I've read a few hundred times, honestly. It's something I've been reading since high school. And it's the same exact talking points it always has been. But I was talking to a friend about it last night as I was reading it. And I realized that, I don't know why this never occurred to me before. That what people are actually saying when they say that billionaires are a good thing is that they are in favor of kings. Dictators, put simply. That they prefer to have the majority of the power in the hands of an individual rather than in a conglomerate or a republic or a representative body or anything else. Because the majority of all those arguments boil down to, the government sucks, but one person can do things to help people. Think about it. And Lord knows that I've seen a lot of that historically. I'm not going to talk about right now. Although Lord knows there's a lot of that going on right now. But like historically speaking, a lot of people do seem to prefer a king. There's an order? Okay. I apparently cannot climb in here. I also am having trouble getting over here. Yeah, I have also heard the game. I've also heard the argument that the biggest benefit of a king is you know who to behead when things go badly. Yeah, exactly, Jesse's mask. One of the story threads, I don't want to spoil too much, but one of the story threads for RFF9 is that at the end of RFF9, the heroes are going to destroy the big bad who founded the Alexandrian Empire to accomplish its own ends. Once they successfully do so, the presumption is that Alexandria will go back to being a kingdom and everything will be fine. Spoilers, they're wrong. Alexandria has already been formed into an empire. There's an entire infrastructure there, and bureaucracy and position and power and all that fun stuff across a large number of different people, all of whom are not too keen on just going back and saying, all right, hit the reset button. And that those events will actually lead directly into the events of RFF6. What is this? Okay, well, we left the my niece who was walking downstairs field. Hey kiddo. No! I thought you were heading over to a friend's today. Or tonight. Is it tonight?
That's why I came down here to say goodbye.
Oh. Well, do me a favor. Have fun. Have lots of fun. Sorry.
Bye.
No! Okay,
Rick screwed up.
I gotta share this because this amuses the hell out of me. You know the ascend ability, right? My niece... No, not the flip. See the flip? She's so flippant. Oh, there we go. She keeps destroying my ceiling by using the ascend ability to leave the area and go back to the rest of the house. Now you're probably thinking, oh, so she likes Tears of the Kingdom. No, she did it first. So Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo, we'll be seeing you in court as we're going to sue you for violation of my niece's copyrighted material, okay? Wait. Come here for a second, please.
Sorry.
Oh my god. These are so cute.
I have a porg.
I mean, I know, you've got the Porg, and I've seen this one. This is one of your first ones, right?
Yeah, that's my first one.
And then the Porg is very cute, but I don't recognize these. These are new to me. They look a little mothy. Are they okay?
Oh yeah, they're fine. They just get rubbed up again.
They're so cute. They're so cute. I'm stealing this. These are
Actually,
mine
the
now.
porg is the newest one.
The Porg is extremely cute. He's still eating.
I got him when I went to Disney. I think the newest item on my purse is the...
I was gonna say, I don't recognize that. That's... I also don't recognize who that is. But I do recognize who that is. That's very cute. Okay, have fun. Bye. Anyways, sorry, Spartan. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. I know exactly what that feels like. I don't like having that kind of time wastiness. Okay, so... Well, that's out of reach now. On with the show, I suppose. Towards green, it looks like. I could also hit the maze itself. Yeah, this feels like a Google kind of a thing. And of course we're too low down, so we're just gonna give up. We're gonna give up on the moment. No, green is this way, Lore. Directions are fundamental. Oh, I'll have to Google the maze. Discord abilities have been unlocked. Hammer down is an effect. I repeat, hammer down is an effect. Yeah, I haven't really interacted with the maze or the Borg cube yet, like at all. What you just saw is the most I've seen of him. Let's see here. So we're going towards this one, I think? Where are we going? Yes, this one. Should be up-ish. Yep, there it is. I see it right there. I don't think we have enough stamina for that. I mean, low-grav puzzles sound cool to me, but I've played Mario Odyssey, so I'm spoiled on that. Whoa. Also gonna hit the wrong button there. Aw, thank you, Reptile's Blade. No stamina potions. We're gonna make it! Ugh. Intense music. I should do a supercut of like the really intense trailer music they do. And it's just some guy, the whole footage is just some guy stretching out his stamina wheel to reach a location. And that's it. No, I think we should tax the rich, Bionic Punk, obviously. Tax them into the ground. Tax them until they're not rich anymore. Okay. Another Shadow Spire. What's keeping them from packing up? Admittedly, nothing. But let me ask a very honest question. What's the detriment of rich people leaving your country? Really? Now, I do know it's actually more complicated than that. Of course I do. No, I feel that, Inamisho. I feel that. Well, also, it depends on the definition of the rich. Something people have to understand is when we're talking about rich people, we're talking about people who are so ludicrously rich, it's actually kind of physically impossible for people to understand how rich they are. Okay, I just lost a good shield to that. Cool. Like, fun fact, there's actual classifications for that. It's called high net worth individuals. And honestly, that's probably it's still a bit too much. But at the same time, in reality land, if you have a net worth of $1 million, that's honestly not that big of a deal. I know people personally who qualify as high net worth individuals, which is total assets of over $1 million, which does not include your personal residence, as I mentioned earlier. So that's different, right? That's not the same thing as rich people. If you have $1 million, you're probably set for life, especially if you're managing it carefully. But yeah, when you get to the billion range, the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is so huge that it's hard to process properly. You ever see one of those difference between $1 million and $1 billion memes? Because there's actually a lot of them. Hang on a sec. Because there's a lot. Yeah, here we go. So, perfect example. 1 million seconds is about 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. 1 million minutes ago was about 2 years ago. 1 billion minutes ago was 114 AD. 1 million hours ago, it was the dawn of the 20th century. 1 billion hours ago, it was about the first time we estimate that humans first started walking. That's the difference between $1 million and $1 billion. And there's a lot of ways to compare and contrast that. There's lots of ways you can try to visualize that a little bit. If you made $10,000 an hour, pause. Just put that into your brain. Take a moment, because it takes a moment to really process how much money that is, okay? Process how much money it is to make $10,000 an hour. Now imagine you do that at a 40-hour work week for 10 years and you have 208 million. In other words, you were only a fifth of the way to $1 billion. With $10,000 an hour. And yeah, wealth is also not linearly scaled. We're just talking about straight math. The truly ultra-rich are so rich that there's a lot of discussion that's currently going around to try and add additional taxes for ultra-high net worth individuals. Which, by the way, is defined as having more than 30 million. Anyways, of course, they're resisting that tooth and nail, but here's the thing that I find hysterical about that. Almost all of those proposals are suggesting increasing the tax on those people by 1/10 or 100%. Now, you're probably thinking, why even bother at that point? Well, 1/10% of the amount of money that, say, Jeff Bezos makes every year is a fairly large amount of money, which can go to a fairly large amount of anything, really. And of course, for the billionaire in question, they won't even notice it's gone. Actually turned around a little bit now. Yeah, no, that's the other thing. Like, for the longest time I tried to wrap my head... No, I know I missed something. The longest time I tried to wrap my head around how billionaires' minds work. And I think the reality is that they're just diseased in the head, like pathologically speaking. And I don't mean that as an insult. If I wanted to insult them, I'd say that billionaires enjoy Starfield so much they think it's the only game that should exist. No, when I think that there's like a problem with them in the head, I mean that very literally. Like, it's the kind of thing I cannot understand. Big money disease. Yeah, ego, narcissism, actual narcissism. Like, we call a lot of people narcissists, but no, narcissism is a real thing, and it's not pleasant. Wait, I missed a block, but it's right here. What? What did I miss? What did I miss? Yeah, there's Hollywood narcissism is like OCD. You know, we always see OCD in fiction and stuff. Oh, this one. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. There you go. I do, actually, Spartan. Yes, I do think he does have a neurological disease. Amber's okay. But yeah, like, narcissism is like OCD. In fiction, someone who has OCD is someone who's, like, clean, right? Or someone who's a little bit fastidious. You know, I would qualify as OCD if I was suddenly a fictional character. Real-life OCD people, that's not cool. Like, it's a whole other thing. People who are obsessively compulsive. It's right there in the name. And yeah, narcissism the same way. In fiction, someone who's a narcissist is someone who likes themselves. No, narcissism is a whole other level from that. I've actually known people who have real OCD too. It's part of how it came into my wheelhouse. And of course, I've talked about this before. One of my ex-girlfriends was really big into mental health study and discussion and analysis of disorders. And so I learned a lot kind of with her as she was learning a lot of that too. Go ahead, Act. Aw. Much higher. Much higher. There was no hope before. Like, none. At all. I don't think it's polemic to say that I know... To say a statement of fact that I personally know people who were refusing to vote before Biden dropped out of the race. And now those same people have decided that they are actually going to go ahead and vote. I honestly think that speaks for itself. And there's nothing polemic about that. That is just a statement of fact. Oh yeah, then there's autism. That's one that's been slowly making the works around Hollywood for a while now. Okay, so those both look like they're down. Nope, that one is not down. Oh, it's right there. I can see it. It's right there. Ironically, I actually think we have a near perfect example of autism. I think it's autism specifically. In a character that is so old, it's a television show from the 90s. Very late 80s, very early 90s. And it's so old that the term autism had only barely started being used as an actual medical diagnosis. I looked this up. In other words, what happened, Reginald Barclay in Star Trek The Next Generation. What had happened was Barclay was drawn from personal experience from one of the creators, Michael Piller. And so Michael Piller has autism. And so all of those personal experiences were just kind of translated directly into Barclay, and it helps that Dwight Schultz is a fantastic actor, so he did the role justice. As a consequence, we had really, really good representation of an autistic character in fiction, completely by accident, because they didn't even know what the word meant at that point historically. Like, obviously, the word autism goes back to, like, the 1800s or whatever. I looked it up, it's like 1727 or something like that. But they didn't know that. Nobody had heard of that word at that point in time. Yeah, everyone used the R word back then. Hi, Czar, again. Okay, so we have fire, we have ice. Title is accurate. Oh yeah, special needs. That's another word we used for a while there. Okay. No, it's okay, Mr. Ed. I know that you'd much rather watch Winx Club. Or Sailor Moon. No, hang on. I got a better one. Go watch the entirety of One Piece right now. Okay. The joke there is not that Sailor Moon is crap. The joke there is that Sailor Moon is long, by the way. That's the thrust of that joke. I just realized that sounded like I was insulting Sailor Moon. That wasn't the goal there. How the hell, Spartan? How is that even possible? Down there. Okay. Really? 1,116 episodes. So, we were talking earlier, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. See, something like Bleach, that's a millionaire. But something like One Piece, that's a billionaire. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So let's think about that for a second. How many hours is 1,100? So hang on. What's 22 times 1,100? Let's start with that. don't feel like doing that in my head. Sorry, okay, that's yeah, damn it, I was right there. 2420, okay? Now, I definitely don't feel like doing this in my head. What is 2420? Good night, Giga Pudding. Divided by 60. $403. Okay. Now what's 403 times 325? Okay. So you have to raise 131,000 priority in order for me to fund that. Now, that sounds like a lot, and that is, but here's the really funny part. I'm sorry to keep bringing this back to this, you know, discussion about billionaires and whatnot, but all that means is in order to fund one of the longest shows ever, all you'd need to donate is $130,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and that's because it is, to us, real people. Think about how minute of amount that is to a billionaire. Think about how much of a microscopic quantity of money that is to someone who just has $1 billion. Yeah, exactly. That's throwing a Snickers bar. That's a great analogy, Maverick. I love that. That's throwing a Snickers bar into your basket at the grocery store. How does it keep not catching it? I mean, that would completely destroy my show, but, you know, it's fine, it's fine. Shows were made to be destroyed. What? This is not the outcome I was envisioning here. No, still not. It's not over the edge. Okay. Okay. Oh, so that should be close enough. I mean, that's all we'd be doing forever, Bionic. Just forever. That's another thing. How long would that take to go through? So let's think about that for a second. We get through an average of 8-ish episodes of a 22 every day. So what's 1,100 divided by 8? Let's just start with that. There we go. 140. That's actually not as bad as I thought. So if we went full tilt, non-stop, 7 days a week, as usual, which is my overall usual pattern, it would take us about half a year, or roughly 6 months, to get through that. Unfortunately, we'd never finish because I'd have long since committed suicide. Alright, so... I'd wake up one day and think, I have to cover One Piece again today. And I just walk out into the airlock, metaphorically speaking. Nah, I'm good. I'm dead. I'm dead. Emergency knife. How many episodes would I make it? 3. Track lengths, huh? Okay. Where's my... Oh, there it is. It's right there. It's right there. Come on, pay attention more. Oh, I have no idea. Relatable. Haven't seen a lot. Oh yeah, I'll do a streaming of just me reading One Piece. Except I've seen manga. They're these stupid little books, so it's be like flip. Time for you. Yeah, Yiga negative still applies. I thought about that earlier, but I've already run into cases where it's like, yep, that's a Yiga person. No, we gotta say it right. We gotta say it like it's Donkey Kong Country 64. Ho, ho, ho. Banana. Yeah, your master is dead and arguably never even existed, so just go die. I think so, Dream Whisperer. I mean, I've defeated Koga once. That's what you mean. Oh, that's it. I'll just stream the book, right? So all you'll see is just the pages of the manga. And the challenge will be keep up at my pace. That would be pretty mean. Yeah, I was already a fast writer, and then I started streaming for a living. Yeah, that went up. Okay. I have no idea, Mr. Ed. It also depends on the formatting. Some books like to do weird formatting, and it's harder for me to read weird formatting. Yeah, everyone voted for me to do shrines after we finished the Goron temple. Still the roof? God, I hate this place so much. I hated this place in Breath, too. That's true, Legible. How many shrines are left? I don't know. 700,000, something like that. So, do I think it'd be feasible and or worth exploring to have a concept of a Fenris RPG set entirely in a city? Like, say, the size of the style of Novigrad, but scaled up to actually be worthwhile in terms of size. Yes. Frankly, I think it's weird that more games don't try to focus on having the majority of their terrain occur in a single city. Obviously, the GTAs would qualify. Some of the GTAs would qualify. And, technically, Cyberpunk. Kirkwall doesn't really count, ironically. Even though it should have. Like, Kirkwall is like a neighborhood. I literally have to go farther to go to my grocery store than Kirkwall's entire existence is. But the point being, setting a whole game like a big open world game, but it's just the city. Very doable. I'm not 100% sure why they don't do it, but actually I have a very strong theory as to why they don't. So here's the deal. You ever notice how one of the most common doodad policies we give, including to this very game we're playing right now, is for town doodads? As opposed to, you know, like, out in the wild doodads? A lot of the reason why is because it's generally, like, these people do a lot better of a job. Info? In doing doodads in town. I mean, duh, right? But that's also more work. Yeah, exactly. Landscape can be nice and big and mostly empty, and nobody really questions it because it's landscape. So it feels like it's bigger. Good afternoon, Evo. I'm afraid it's time to play Tetris. I suck at Tetris. My aunt was extremely good at Tetris. Really good. What, you mean the shrines being in the same locations? Dream Whisper? Okay, just for you guys. Hang on. We'll play the safe version. I never actually saw the, well, then probably not Dream Whisper, because that's the only thing I know about the top of my head. Sure, Dream Whisper, why not? What, for playing an NES song? I sure hope not, Drax, yeah. Then again, who knows? Oh yeah, I would not have put that together. We didn't even finish one song. Well, you know what? No. I know the music that everybody really secretly wants. I admittedly have not thought about pauses for Yunobu yet, and I should. Absolutely right. One moment, please. Because first we need to listen to some music. I would say Yunobo is not as useful as Tulin is. I mean, yay, knocking over things, but he's a little bit too limited in how he moves and how he adheres to you. And the terrain definitely gets in the way of him. By contrast, Tulin is pretty much always useful, right? Actually, yes, Vulgarity. Holy crap. 8-bit Stereo Guy is my go-to for a lot of NES soundtracks. At least if I want to pull it up on YouTube, I have my own stuff ripped locally. There is one issue with Tulin, and we've already given a negative for it. It's the activating on accident, because looting and talking to Tulin and activating Tulin is the same button. And Tulin likes to fly into your face, so that sucks. But yes, he is also your vehicle armament. Hang on, here we go. Kit, that's what I'm looking for. Kit. Yeah, exactly, Act. Press A to do anything. What is this, Assassin's Creed? Alright, how many of you know what this song means? There are two possible answers here. I would accept either of them. This is the TMNT water stage, which people have been clowning on for years, which I always find funny. I wouldn't even put the underwater stage as like the top 5 hardest stages in that stupid game. Maybe top 5, like maybe at the number 5 slot. I would have also accepted this as the intro music for the Then and Now series. Not that I expect any of you to even know what that is at this point. It is the first difficulty cliff, and it is a cliff of difficulty, no question. Yeah, I've beaten that stage, because it's not actually that bad. That's not bragging, that's statement of fact. I've actually talked about this phenomenon before. People tend to remember the first iteration of a thing in a game, rather than the worst iteration of a thing in the game. Everyone talks about how difficult it is to do the train mission in GTA San Andreas, but no, there's much worse than that in San Andreas, is the example I like to use for that. So, yeah, the underwater level sucks, but it's mostly just because it's badly designed. Then you get to the hard levels. Those levels are terrible. I've actually never beaten TMNT on the NES because the Technodrome defeated me. I'm not even ashamed of that fact. I am very down, Evo. See, I was hoping that an amazing friend of mine would send me pictures. But let's see if pictures were sent here. Let's see. Oh, there's pictures. Okay, mood improved. Yay. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got... tuna, celery, milk, something else, cheese. I'm not sure what those are. Are those eggs? Why would you get quail eggs? What else have we got here? Those look like mushrooms, maybe? I'm not sure what those are. Oh my god, those are so tiny! Do it. Try each type of mushroom. I should message them. Yeah, where's all the cat pics? God. See, I actually had quail eggs once. And they tasted exactly the same as chicken eggs, and then I immediately gave up on them. I know, right off the deeper end. Like, I guess part of it is because developers have this desire to make water stages control differently. So, as a direct consequence, they don't know what they're doing, and you get Mega Man Legends 2. Points if you get that reference. Yeah, or the Ocarina Water Dungeon. Just, guys! We've actually had good water dungeons in history, but they're just completely overwhelmed by everything else, right? Let's see, anything worth building here? It looks like a hard no. Meh. Alright, whatever. Old-fashioned way. Nino Island. Oh my god. Yeah, or Mario Sunshine. Does the same damn thing. Wow, that missed. That did. You're literally not worth killing. Yeah, Ori knew what it was doing. Mostly Ori 2, although Ori 1's underwater sections were still good. But Ori 2's... Oof. Man, I sure wish I could just, you know, pop out a vehicle right about now. I haven't been back to Eventide yet. It's actually on my mental to-do list. Oh man, the Ori 1 run is okay, but the Ori 2 run is just oof. It's the reason that game is so high on the list to this day in Golden Number. Don't worry, Silk Song will be... I'm going to make my prediction right now. Silk Song will not be a bad game, but it will also not be a particularly good game. It will not be a worth the wait game. No. There we go. That's my prediction right now. In fact, I predict it'll do worse than Hollow Knight. Tears? That's a tough one. Tears is a huge improvement over Breath, like a huge improvement. And I don't know, I'm enjoying myself. However, I do have to admit that I'm mostly relaxed because I've been duping! And duping really, really pulled in the safety net and just took off all the pressure. So, I've been doing a lot better ever since I did that. Yeah, Tears is a very long game, which I just have problems with in general. What? I don't even see. Yeah, we saved literal days worth of work by duping. Enough said. I actually don't see him. I don't see the car parts. Whatever. Just keep running. Just keep running. Why, Bionic Punk? It's probably just someone with the Yiga anyways. She'll be like, thanks for saving me, and now I'll kill you. And then I'll kill her too. And it'll be like... I do definitely think there is such a thing as too short of a game. I've talked about that before. Length of a game is something that should be designed around the game itself. Not even the genre, necessarily. Just the game itself. Like, you might be like, oh, you couldn't possibly enjoy a platformer that's 60 hours long, but counterpoint, Mario Odyssey. And hell, I've played several platformers that are pretty long. And, I've been better for it. I know Mario Odyssey is kind of a hell of a counterpoint. It's practically the nuclear option for counterpoints, but I stand by it. I theorize that it's specific. Oh, that's an interesting problem. That it's specifically because of, how much devs wanted to pad games out back in the day, and I guess arguably still do. But other than that, Inamisha, I don't know. That's true, the Galaxy games aren't exactly short either. So let me melt all this ice, or I could just do this. Rockets continuing to be awesome. Well, I don't want to overpraise Odyssey, so all I'll say is that I recommend playing it and leave it at that. Really? Okay. Sure, I'll bite. Oh, you don't have a Switch. I can't help with that. Unless I conquer the world, then Switches for everyone. Yeah, it was one of the very first Switch games I played. The actual first Switch game I played was Breath. Go figure. That's what I thought. I think I can still make this work. It's gonna be dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Nope, I need that more. A little more centered. Ah! Probably not how you're supposed to do that. Like, it felt like it wanted me to do the short one, and then the long one, and then swing up, rather than swing over. Oh, hello. I might grab this, just because we're right here. Then again, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, I probably should. I should. We'll save it. I'm gonna AFK very briefly. Okay. The cube. The cube. I don't see it, so that's a bad sign. Okay. I can make that work. Really, game. Sure, game. Sure. Whatever. Jesus, that still hurts like hell. Or just, sure, okay. That really hits hard. Could you not for 5 seconds? Okay. $1,600 a month. Jesus Christ. I recently had a friend tell me how good of a deal they'd gotten at a place because it was only $1,000 a month. And I remember just crying a little bit at that. Like, wow. Because that is pretty low. And that's sort of the problem, isn't it? I disagree with everything. No, 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 no! I just... Game! For real! Okay. That'll do. I need to go refill my fairies at some point. Not that I have a reliable source of fairy refills. Which sucks, but whatever. Oh, goody. The blood moon. We have not fought a Gleeok yet, and after that Talus just now, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should wait on that. Okay, go and do your thing. The blood moon has reset the world state and refreshed the memory of the game. Yeah, I was about to say, that means the Ice Talus, which is right over there, is back. I'm gonna laugh. I walk outside. Yeah, he's right there. Nopety nope. Unfortunately, I have no real reliable way of getting up there. So we're gonna get some height. Yeah, he's just waiting like, I know you're right there. I'm just a giant rock pile. There's nothing about... Yeah! Grimdark. If you're familiar with the greater lore of World of Darkness, you know that the setting is literally doomed. There is actually no hope. At all. And there's not really any defiance of that. It's just, yeah. We're all dead. Moving on. Oh, that's a good idea. I should warp over here instead. It's gonna be way faster. I think we have 3 memories? 1, 2... If we're counting the starter memory, 3. So I think we've only really done 2. Ooh, a hot spring. She's like over there. We'll deal with that in a second. We'll deal with that in a second. How many shrines are there in this game? Because I would estimate off the top of my head we have to do at least 60 more. Bare minimum. Oh, goody, it's a naked shrine. 154. Oh, wow. I've decided to kill myself. Emergency knife time. not really counting light roots. What do I get for all that? Poop. No, that's about what I expected. I think it gave up on me. Yeah, the tenderizer is actually working pretty well. Shame I can't keep it. I do like sapphires. Haven't used any yet, but they're very pretty. Yeah, no kidding, Jesse's Mouse. Thank you, Dream Whisperer. Remind me, which Ace Attorney thing are we funding right now? So, 2D, platformer, block. The objectively correct choice. And Ace Attorney, whatever it is, I guess. Investigations. Thank you. Remember. I feel like the correct call is to go up again here. Yeah, 73 shrines. Jeez. Oh, we're not even halfway there. We're never gonna make it. We're never gonna make it. They're gonna find me a dried and desiccated husk, chanting, "More shrines. More shrines." just going to be my life. Part of the reason I wanted to dupe the Zonai was specifically to add to the battery count so I could fly around a bit more and get to avoid doing what I'm doing right now. Exactly, Jesse's mask. You remember Ganondorf at the beginning? That was actually me. It's a bit of time loopy thing, but that was me at the very beginning. I was just like, you cannot stand against a king in full suavamente. Still don't actually know what that means. Not sure I want to. See, it's a good reference, Jesse's Mouse, but I gotta ding you for reminding me of that stupid game. It's true. I haven't gone back to Star Ocean since that game. It was absolutely correct. And if I go ahead and finally play Star Ocean 2R, I'm still not going forwards in the Star Ocean series because I'm just playing a remake of 2. Or 1, whatever it is. Okay, where is this thing? I think the ground's there somewhere. It's kind of hard to tell. These Louise. Yeah, the whole kingdom is just covered in my tears at this point. Well, if it's Star Ocean 3, then I can tell you very explicitly, if you're willing to spoil it, which of course I am not. It boils down to everything about the big reveal and the ending. Like, not even the ending, just everything from the big reveal onwards, honestly. I was not a big fan of that. But you know what? I've been holding on to something for a while now. What's really stupid is I don't even have, like, an objective reason for why it bothered me so much. It arguably shouldn't, right? It should just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it ruined my interest in the game so much, the franchise so much, that I never touched any of the subsequent ones. Oh, there he is. Okay. Sure. So yeah, like I said, I never played 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever we're up to now. So it says this ice is meltable. I think it's lying to me. Those blacks. Those blacks. Blacks might be worth my time. I will admit, separate from the twist, there's one other reason I didn't care for Star Ocean 3. I know it's a really, really pathetic thing to hold against it, but the super optional bosses were just kind of awful to go through, in my opinion. Wasn't super into it. Ah, here we go. Oh yeah, Link is totally hot. If Savacom were here, she'd confirm. I have never actually streamed Star Tropics, no. In fact, I've never beaten Star Tropics. Or Star Tropics 2. I'm pretty sure both are going to be in the NES block. Pretty sure. Ah, a naked ground. Okay. Oh, we'll see how this works out. Uh-huh. I would say better. Reptile's Blade. There's been a couple individual of these that have pissed me off. But for the most part, this is definitely better than the combat shrines. If nothing else, the combat shrines got old. You know? Yeah, these tend to vary. I haven't seen one shrine repeated yet, but in Breath, quite a few shrines were repeated, thanks to the duplicate nature of the combat And even when they want you to use traps, you don't have to. Although you notice I did use traps, I just didn't just use traps. I mean, it kind of is Jesse's Mask. I'm still bloggered by the fact that this started off as a DLC. Like, I kind of get why. Like, hey, let's add some new story stuff and some new gameplay stuff. Oh, I've got an idea. Let's add this build mechanic. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I've got an idea. Let's add this fuse mechanic. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I've got an idea. Let's add a whole, like, sky layer. Oh, that's kind of cool. Hey, what were we working on again? No, but I have this great idea. Let's make an underground that's like a duplicate of the overground. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's make it so we can dive up through rock. Oh, I love it. I haven't been very impressed with the sky so far. The depths, by contrast, I haven't even finished giving positives to yet. Like, I've explored a fairly large amount of the depths, but even still, relatively speaking, I've only scratched the surface of it. I kind of want to really be zone-eyed up before I dive into the depths, because I kind of want to actually have an efficient form of the hover bike before I do that. Hey, Lune Ruth. Let's see. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that. That's terrible. Like, Blizzard has been known... Yes, Mr. Ed. Blizzard has been known for having good tech support for years. Like, customer support, not tech support, sorry. It's weird that they would just send you a form letter. That makes so much sense, Dream Whisperer. That's the kind of thing I would do. It's like, hang on, I just really want to get back to the surface really quickly. There we go. Yeah, them and everyone else, Bonnekonk. Fire the QAs, fire the customer support. Who needs them? They don't add to the overall quality of the product because they don't have demonstrable returns on investment. Obviously. Yeah, the last time I praised Blizzard support probably goes back to around Pandaria era. No, I think it was actually Legion, now that I'm saying that out loud. So that's relatively recent, right? I mean, that's only 5 expansions ago. That's a weird thought. Legion is now 5 expansions ago. Yeah, FF14 has just reached the point where they have 5 expansions total. For a bit of a comparison point there. Nope, War Within exists now. It's up to 5, Spartan. We can officially call it. Well, I guess we can't. Not until next Tuesday. We are a few days away from 5 expansions ago. Alright, time to go forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. Forwards. Forwards and backwards and forwards. Why does it have teeth? Well, considering Breath was openly and obviously through analysis inspired by Zelda 1, that makes sense. Alright, what extremely obvious thing am I missing here? That's what. Yep. Once again, it's always me literally missing a piece of the puzzle. The moment I realized that physics applied differently on the rewind, that was easy. I mean, they wouldn't be the first company like that, Linear, so it wouldn't surprise me. If that would end up being true. Which would suck. Stretch. I think with dinner looming, we'll do this one last one, then we'll cut off for the night. That one right there. See, I'd say I prefer the 2D Zeldas, but then Twilight is the current record holder for score. But then surely I prefer 3D Zeldas, but then the second highest Zelda I have is Link Between Worlds. I mean, you know me. I don't have a preference. There are genres I like. At the end of the day, what I really like is good games. Yeah, I prefer the good ones. Twilight just happens to be really solid. It's got some flaws. Some pretty substantial flaws, actually, but it's just really, really solid. I forget the full list off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the genre sheet. Which I guess I could do since I'm just flying right now. So let's see here. Oop, overshot, overshot. One moment. Where is the genre list? There it is. Zeldas. How is our lineup right now? So Twilight Princess is on the top, then Link Between Worlds, then Majora's Mask, then Link to the Past. That is a hysterical spread, because that's literally 3D, 2D, 3D, 2D. Then Ocarina, 3D. Then Minish Cap, 2D. And then it evens out a little bit. That's a lot of games above 100. In fact, the average golden number right now for Zelda games is 143, which is bonkers high. That's crazy. Cave, 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 cave. Oh, cave, cave. Cave, where are you? Hello, Cave. The golden number for every game I've covered so far? Believe it or not, I keep track of that. The golden number average for every game I cover right now is... hang on. 81.73. Which, yeah, that's about right. No, that's pretty good. And we do tend to cover good games, so that tracks. Where's this? Yeah, thanks, Starfield. I've mentioned this before, but when we get to the NES and the SNES block, that average is going to go down. It's a lot of games which are not going to score super well. Here's Wheel of Fortune on the NES. Okay, that's done. Here's Jeopardy on the NES. Okay, that's done. Here's Lester the Unlikely. Okay, that's done. Here we go. No mistake, man. I'm looking forward to the NES block, but, like, it's going to be interesting covering that many games rapid fire. Yeah, if only we hadn't preserved game history, we never would have had to acknowledge these terrible games existed. We're going to have to play Back to the Future, aren't we? Oh my god. Is Back to the Future on the NES block? Because never beaten that game. It is. Oh, jeez. It's okay. We'll have save states. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Actually, I used to play the hell out of Wheel of Fortune on the NES. Mostly because it was the only game my mother would actually play with me. Oh, thank God, Mr. Red. That means I didn't rebuy it when I rebought my NES collection. No, Back to the Future, Reptiles. I know I used to own Back to the Future. There's a reason I'm able to talk about it and how absolutely awful it is. Because it is. No. Like, I'm still not sure what you're hearing exactly there. Yeah, the game, to be very specific. I love Back to the Future, the movies. Like, a lot. What? Oh, for God's sakes. Well, I overshot. Oh yeah, I can bomb arrow this. Well, what can I say? I like me some physics. Talking about the hing? Because that doesn't sound at all like drilling to me. That's the only sound effect I'm hearing when I stop doing the beam. Yes, bomb arrows work on these. Go figure. Interesting. Everyone, I think Linerith has officially lost it. Too much! That was a fun one. The FromSoft block. It's just me, and I've got my foot out, and I've got a hammer. And I just hammer my own foot every time I can take it. Every time I feel like I can endure the pain. It's... Ugh! Okay. Take a few minutes, you know, recover, and then... Ugh! And that's the whole stream. It would go viral. I immediately become the most successful YouTuber ever. Tomorrow, at roughly 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, possibly more shrines. I'm not 100% sure what we'll do next, but we'll do something next. Either way, I'll see you around.